Okay, here's the thing that I feel really deeply about you. You are another incarnation of Debbie Friedman.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Like you're filling a very similar niche at the moment.
That is a huge honor to me. Thank you very much.
Meant as such. Like folk music inspired. Composing music to be sung in shul.
Yeah.
Queer icon.
Queer.
Check, 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 check.
Wow. I'll just take this. This is great.
Allegedly breaking up many marriages. Debbie Friedman.
Listen.
Your album, the blue one,
Yes.
has a very hot picture of you.
Sasha Arjutanova. I was standing in the water. At Coney Island.
Real water.
It's real water. I was standing in the water.
Water.
In the water. I knew it. Damn it.
Gotcha.
Now that's inexplicable. It's because I went to summer camp with people from Pennsylvania and they all say,
Wait, but you didn't, where did you grow up?
I grew up in New York.
That's so embarrassing.
I know. I can't explain that word, but it is ridiculed coast to coast.
As it should be.
They say, okay, all the way to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia vibes, they go wooder, which is a very small tweak from what I say, which is water. Oh it's pretty bad.
It's
not great.
As a professional vocal artist, I'm so glad that you have this speech impediment.
I do. I have many, actually, but that's really, it's one of the ones that I get the most made fun of because I'm not aware of it. I just say it and then I'm like, oh no.
It's very Mayor of Easttown.
Oh my God.
Remember her?
Do I remember her? Aquina. I love her so much. Kate, she'll, anything she does.
Do you think she's gay?
Yes.
I think a little.
At least a little.
At least a little.
Maybe like a medium amount.
I hope so.
Me too. I feel like there's no evidence to the contrary.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You should never speculate on someone's sexuality.
No.
Just so we're really clear.
That's
about
not,
that.
we don't condone that.
Never. Ever.
Not my business.
Do that. It's not our business. But
if we're talking about it.
If we have to.
Listen, if Kate Winslet 40%. 30.
I think that's completely reasonable. 40?
I mean,
a solid 40.
Even let's rewind back to like Titanic, even, which is we're not supposed to think that she's gay in that movie.
Leo
is a woman.
Exactly.
Leo is a woman in that movie. He's a woman. He's a girl. Even
he's a pretty.
He's a
girl.
pretty girl. He turns around with his tuxedo on. You know that the moment where he's wearing the nice suit. He turns around with his little hair, and you're like, what a pretty girl.
And you're like, oh my God, it's so sweet that you didn't wear a dress tonight.
I know. You're trying something new.
Trying something new.
And that's great.
Wow. Welcome to Yenta. Where we don't speculate about people's sexuality. Because we're really good. We're just really good allies and gays.
We're allies and gays.
Welcome to Yenta, the podcast that's sometimes about comedy, sometimes about Judaism, and always about gossip.
When you pointed just now, I panicked. I'm like, am I supposed to
love that?
Do you want me to?
I was wondering if you were going to say gossip with me because you know the line.
I know. I actually would love to see the tape of this because I probably was doing what my mom does when my kids talk, which is kind of mouthing the lines. I'm like,
we'll watch the tape.
We'll watch it. We'll close.
Watch the tape. Today, we've got a big guest. This is a big deal. Elana Arian.
Nailed it.
Like the Nazi. That's gonna get us demonetized.
That'll
if
not
we
be
were
great,
ever
but it'll be
monetized.
fine. One or the other.
Elana is like kind of a huge name on the Jewish music circuit. Like
little circuit.
It's
big name.
That's exactly right. Little circuit, huge name. I mentioned to my neighbor that you were our guest today, and this person who's in rabbinical school was like, "Oh my God, that's huge."
That's my demo.
That's your demo.
Yes, that's my demo.
So you've been like touring the Jewish music world, writing new Jewish music for years.
Yes.
Decades?
Jewish music, probably a decade at this point.
And your music is now sung, I mean, like you've sung her Micha Mocha, it's sung at camps, it's sung in synagogues, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
I saw that you were on, did you see that you're on a TikTok challenge of Jewish music? I'll play it for you later. They're like 10 songs that they snip between.
Oh my God, amazing.
And 2 of them are yours.
Oh my
and it's
God.
sort of like you like dance along if you know the song and love it.
Fantastic. We love this.
We love this. So you're like a huge touring Jewish musician. You're writing amazing new music, both like liturgical and just vibe.
Just vibe.
Just
A
vibe.
lot of vibe, yeah.
You've got a couple of albums. You've got a new album coming out in May called If We Loved Like That.
Yes.
Which I knew off the top of my head.
You sure did.
And you've played in a couple Broadway pits. You teach at the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music.
Say its name. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Say her name.
Say her name. Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music.
Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music. And that's what an honor. I think those are like your really big things to hit. Did I forget something important?
I don't think so.
I think that's it. Alana's a big deal. And so this is like really exciting that she's here. So that's you. Okay, now what do you love about me? No, just kidding.
I just walked into this beautiful place. There's an adorable tiny dog. Hi. I'm drinking Antonia's patented brew. Take a look at that. It's mint.
Swampy.
It's mint swamp tea. And actually, it's delicious.
It's mint tea and soy milk, and I think I'm kind of starting a revolution here.
I really like it. I think it needs a good name.
Yes.
It needs like, I'll have a...
The Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Tea.
Exactly. Perfect. Rolls right off the tongue.
Knew it.
Knew it.
Listeners, you'll obviously notice that my bestie Ray is not here. They're away doing Passover programs, and they're in New York being very famous. And so they're killing it. But they'll be back next episode.
We miss you, Ray.
We miss you. We love you. We're literally nothing without you. The intro was like so empty without you. So we love you. Moisha's devastated that you're not here.
Moisha really looks devastated.
He's devastated.
So...
Okay. First question. No, I have to push our Patreon too. Our Patreon. Folks, if you love us, if you know us, you're going to love the Patreon. It's where we put all of the content that's so juicy it would ruin our careers if it was on the main feed.
Yes.
It's gold. There's sex talk. There's Israel talk. All the juicy categories. And right now we've got this new Patreon matchmaking initiative where we've reached out to the singles of the Jewish world. We're matchmaking them on the Patreon. Anyone can submit, but you can only listen to it on our Patreon. It's incredible. Patreon.com/Yenta. You're going to love it.
Get it.
Okay. Elana.
Antonia.
Hottest take about modern Jewish music.
Oh, great. Yes. My hottest take. Well, there's 2 things that come to mind. One take is because I'm about to release a new record. Jewish music exists as a genre of music. That's a hot take because I'll tell you what.
Tell me.
If you go and try to find, My Micha Mocha, like you said, you put it into Apple Music, might come up as Christian, might come up as gospel. Spotify might come up as world music. There is no, I'm looking right into the camera, there is no genre of Jewish music that you can just be like, I like Jewish music, Spotify, make a thing for me.
Whoa.
Okay? Have I blown your mind?
You've blown my mind. Thank you for raising awareness.
I'm here to raise awareness, not to judge or speculate on people's sexuality, but to raise awareness.
Raise it.
I'm raising it up.
That's crazy.
It's a crazy thing.
Or is it like folk sometimes?
Sometimes it's folk. Sometimes it's, sometimes it's singer-songwriter. That is less egregious to me than on Apple Music. I definitely have some stuff that has been like by the meta data algorithmic. You can see. I'm saying words that I don't understand, has been classified as maybe religious, which then because of, being a minority and et cetera.
Say it.
Say her name, Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music. It just gets translated. So I routinely, like probably every couple weeks, I will get a screenshot from someone listening to my music being like, this is weird. Do you know about this? And it's like circling Christian gospel.
Oh, my God.
So that's like my hot take. Like, this is not such a big hard thing to do. Like if you like my music, you'd like a million of my friends' music. Like, wouldn't you like to be able to search by genre? I would.
Literally.
It's crazy.
We have like alt ska emo pop
exactly
as a genre.
When you're in the stage, the record's coming out in a couple weeks, and like maybe a month ago, you finish the recording and you're like, okay, now it has to go be digitally distributed. You use a little company and they give you a million genres that you can click. Mm-hmm. And you don't really understand like how and why it will be used, and it'll be different on every platform. Mm-hmm. But yes, some of the genres are like Indian subcontinent, like alt folk rap. Yes. And I'm like,
you can't just have Jewish?
Come on,
Easy.
Guys. Easy.
And it's like, it doesn't just have to be Jewish. Just give every religion
exactly
a genre.
Exactly.
We're not asking for anything special here.
No special treatment.
Okay, look.
We would never.
Never.
I would never. You would never. We would never. No, but there's like, I think part of the issue is like Christian rock and gospel are huge genres, like obviously. So it's like, we're not that, okay? What's the percentage of Jews in America? Somebody tell me. 2?
I don't know how many people are in Hollywood.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Yes. Am I right? The point is, we're very small.
I'm so sorry.
We apologize. You should never speculate on the number of, you know what I'm saying, Jews in Hollywood.
You get it.
You get it. So yeah, it's like a very small genre, but I'm sort of like, but some of those ones that I passed by on the list have got to be pretty small.
They've got to be.
So that's my hot take. Like, come on, guys. If we run the entertainment industry, which we do. Apologies, I'm sorry. I just feel like this is an easy fix, but I haven't been able to find a way to fix it. But it is my soapbox that I took out today. Hot take.
I feel like there's going to be
revolution.
Some like new programmer who works at iTunes, Spotify, in some shul somewhere.
Exactly.
Like, you can take this to the top. This is ridiculous.
Take it to the top. You don't want to be, dare I say, anti-Semitic.
She said it.
I would never.
But she said it.
I did.
But she said it.
I put it out there.
Okay, spin-off question.
Yes.
Speaking of how big Christian music is, there's a thing going on where like people are remixing old Christian songs and making them kind of like EDM club music. It's incredible.
Yeah.
What old Jewish song needs to be remixed to be dance music?
What a great question. So I feel like this could really go in 2 directions. So like one thing is you take something that's already like an old school bop. Miriam's song, say her name.
Say it! Sing it!
You know what I mean? And just, can't you imagine that song with just like a trap beat underneath, just like...
And the women dancing with the timbals.
And then they would pull it out.
Oh.
Miriam and the women dance all night.
Right? Incredible.
Okay? And you know what? You can have that for free.
For free. Okay, here's the thing that I feel really deeply about you. You are another incarnation of Debbie Friedman.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Like, you're filling a very similar niche at the moment.
That is a huge honor to me. Thank you very much.
Meant as such. Like, folk music inspired. Composing music to be sung in shul.
Yeah.
Queer icon.
Queer.
Check.
Wow. I'll just take this. This is great.
Allegedly breaking up many marriages. Debbie Friedman.
Listen. Yeah, fair enough.
How do you feel about Debbie? Period. You're so linked with her.
So one thing is I am actually linked with her because my mom was a good friend of Debbie's.
Whoa. In
my living room, in my home, is Debbie's piano. So I've written some music on her piano.
What?
So we do have a spiritual, and she's part of my story, actually.
Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna get to the story next question.
Yes. But I do feel like when I'm traveling around and like working in communities all around the country, I do really feel I'm not like I feel like spirits and things around person. My wife, Julia, is very much that way. I love you. You're wonderful. I'm not exactly that way. But Debbie's is one of the only spirits that I do feel around. And it's often when I'm like working because people will go places with me that they, when I'm leading big communal singing, that they wouldn't even know existed if she hadn't already paved, So I do feel that quite strongly. And I do also do like a decent amount of, when I'm traveling around and doing my stuff, one of the sessions that I often find myself getting, even if it's not the actual explicit topic that I'm supposed to be teaching on, will find its way to Debbie at some point, you know?
It's gotta.
She's in there. You
How
know what I
could
mean?
you not?
How could you not? And the cool thing is, like, in the realm that I tend to work in, which is mostly progressive reform communities, like, there's people in that room who have their own deep connection story with, you know, having this huge inspirational moment, like the one time they met Debbie Friedman, or, you know, she was that kind of presence.
Do you get this? Because every single stand-up show I do in a synagogue, I always make jokes about Debbie Friedman.
You have to.
You have to. You're required.
You're
As
required.
a queer woman in Judaism,
You're required.
You're required.
Honestly,
they make you sign the contract.
I was going to say it is contractual.
It's
We can be
contractual.
honest
We've
about
got
it.
great lawyers
Behind
in
the
our culture.
scenes, that's what it is.
And
yeah.
every single place I go to is like, well,
Yeah. Have we got a story for you?
we actually.
Yes.
Do you get this?
Oh my God, 1,000,000,000%. Because I will often, if you know, these weekends, for me, it's like I'm usually there for the full weekend. Okay, which is probably different then, right? If you're
Yeah,
just
I'm
doing
there for a night.
a night, which is, by the way, great.
Great.
Move on. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Move on.
Drop it and go.
Drop it like it's hot. Get out of here.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm there, and so I'll do like a bunch of different kinds of programs during the weekend. I'm leading services. I'm teaching, you know, adults, teaching kids, do a concert. So at some point, usually it's during the concert, I will tell a little bit of my story of sort of how Debbie got me into this world, and that will then, yes, because I will have invoked her name, say her name, Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music. Then it's like, yeah, every person from that point to the rest of the weekend will sort of want to have a chat with me.
Absolutely. Her spirit has been invoked.
It's been invoked. And now I'm going to tell you, they're like, actually, you wouldn't know, but, and then things I can't even repeat. You know?
Exactly.
Scandal.
The best one I heard, I can't remember if I said this in the Limud episode. Did you remember this? Maybe I didn't. Limud was like, the organizers were like, wow, we killed Debbie Friedman. It's like, what? And they were like, yep. The flu she got that turned into the pneumonia
Yes, they're taking credit for that.
that killed her.
They're like,
She
wow.
got at Limud,
It was a British-
London.
Wow. Yeah. To the last day, people are taking credit. And that's the point.
And that's the point.
And that's the point.
And may one day everyone take credit for your death.
for killing me. And you, by the way.
I truly, what an honor it would be.
Wouldn't that be great?
Wouldn't it? It would be great.
It would be great.
Wait, so now tell me just like quickly about your entire life.
Sure.
So like,
No problem. Okay.
What kind of Jew were you growing up, and how did you become this queer icon of Jewish music?
This other kind of Jew.
Yes.
I love this question. So I grew up okay, I was about to say very reform, but most people hear that and they think like she didn't know anything, she didn't do anything.
Exactly.
Right? That's not what I mean. I mean like very proudly reform, like very much identifying as a reform Jew. I grew up like, my dad is a retired reform rabbi who was like he like started the Foundation for Jewish Camps. He was the head of NIFTY. He was like, his whole life was about camp. Okay. The best. And Elana Arian, shout out to my dad. My mom, Mary Lovinger Arian, is, I would say, semi-retired, but not really retired at all. She's one of those. She is a professor at the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music.
Are you kidding me?
Where I teach as well, but I'm not a professor. No.
Okay. Whoa. That's for nerds.
It's for, I mean, come on.
Come on.
That's way above my station. So, and her specialty is about sort of like empowering the congregational voice is what she would say.
What the heck?
Which is like what I am trying to do.
You are such a Nepo baby.
I am a Nepo baby. Those are my parents.
That's incredible.
So I grew up like with that modeling, and also I grew up because my dad was like a camp, that was like his whole rabbinate, and my parents always worked at camp. So I was like a fac brat, like, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, a who?
Damn it. Is it like water?
Sorry.
Oh no.
What?
What? What I said was, thank you for asking. I'll clarify. A fac brat. Fac is faculty. brat is a child of faculty, a faculty child.
Okay.
But everyone called us fac brats, which might not be nice, I guess. I never thought about it before.
It sounds bad, but then when I try and think what's bad about it, I'm like, I
mean, they could have easily said, "Oh, the staff kids."
well, sure, but that would be too nice.
Fac brat is not as nice, but it has a nice mouthfeel.
It feels good. It feels
Fac
good.
brat.
So you were a fac brat.
I was a fac brat, and a term that I now, every time I say it, feels like a slur. But I used to say it with pride. No, in the 80s. So like now, if I go as an artist in residence to a Jewish summer camp, and my kids come, there's like a day camp for the staff kids, excuse me.
Excuse you.
But in the 80s, it was like, we were just like a herd of it was like ridiculous, like kids from age 2 to like 15 just kind of wandering around. And like the camp that I mostly grew up at was Kutz Camp, URJ Kutz Camp, which was a camp for teens. So that's also like not a place you should like just walk into whatever room when you're like 4, but that is what I did.
Sure.
I saw a lot of movies I wasn't supposed to see at like evening programs, that kind of stuff. Anyway, I grew up that way. So like Jewish music like was the main way that I identified with like who I was. And I also, I should also say, I also grew up in a chavurah, not in like a regular congregation, like a home-based community capped at 25 families.
Incredible.
Okay.
Exclusive,
limited edition. Elite. Like, my parents were hippies with other hippies at the time, didn't like the institutional vibes of what was going on. And so we would meet in each other's living rooms, and like I would sit on the floor. My parents would like be the ones leading the services.
My God, that sounds so nice.
It was amazing, honestly. And so the fact that I like mostly work in synagogue spaces now is kind of funny, because when I was like in my 20s, it occurred to me, like my early 20s, like, oh, I don't really know like what to do in a synagogue, even though I'm like deeply Jewish and like practicing.
Interesting.
Because I just grew up in this very specific kind of Judaism.
Your living room carpet kind of
my
Jew.
Living room carpet kind of thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
If the service was at your house that week, you would like help to write the service with like that. We had like a student rabbi from HUC always.
Of course.
Okay. You'd like pick the readings and like make it special for you. And like the other way that you'd know that the service was going to be at your house is the Torah would come to your house.
Oh my God.
In like I think a body bag. I mean, that's what it felt like to me. There would just be like, oh, the Torah. I'd see the Torah on like on the couch in like the living room, and I'd be like, we're having services here this week. The Torah's here. So that's kind of the vibe.
I love
that's
this
how I grew
vibe.
up.
And this is in New York City?
In Westchester, in the
Westchester.
suburbs.
So you had a little room in the living rooms for all 25 families.
Yeah, I mean, it was tight, but yes, we had enough. People would bring like folding chairs.
Perfect.
Great.
So, okay, so that's childhood. And then
what happened?
How did this happen?
So, like I was always a musician since I was very young. I played violin very seriously from like when I was 7 or something. And so a big part of my trajectory is I was very seriously classical violin. And I loved that's like a very sort of like discipline-y area. Like when you get to a certain level in classical music, it's like you get a hardcore teacher. The hardcore teacher's like, you have to practice 4 hours a day or nothing's going to happen.
Well, sure.
And you're like, okay. You're like, cool. So, and I liked that sort of like, most people don't like practicing, I get, and I'm not great with lots of other kinds of discipline, but that kind of thing, I was like, I really like the structure of it. I really like the kind of like meditative thing of it. And of course I loved making music. And so that was like my trajectory kind of up into college. And I also like played guitar. I don't even really remember learning how to play guitar. Like my parents both played guitar. Probably some of those teenagers at Kutz taught me some stuff. Sure. My song leader at my camp, shout out Craig Axler, taught me some chords.
Craig,
I know you're listening, Craig.
He listens to every episode of Yenta.
He's a
huge.
He comments
Yenta.
all the time. Huge Yenta. I should have said Rabbi Craig Axler. He was not a rabbi then, but he is now, of course. So like I picked up kind of folk acoustic guitar from my environment,
from the air,
from my environs.
Yeah.
And I totally like once I got a handle on that, like I have our family computer, which kids, that was the thing back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay. Ours was in the basement and it was huge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The whole desk
Oh, wow. That's bigger. I missed that era. Ours was the size of a regular, not a laptop, but a...
Yeah. No, that size, but then there was depth.
Depth. Absolutely.
Like you couldn't have anything else happening.
No.
It was like that.
No, the table was
That was the computer. Exactly. So once I got enough kind of basic guitar, I definitely spent like a gajillion hours sitting by the basement computer, learning like tabs to every Indigo Girls song that ever happened and all that stuff.
Incredible.
You know,
and that's what turned you gay.
And that is what turned me gay.
Knew it.
Thanks, Amy, Emily. I assume they also listen to every episode with Craig.
Huge Yentas.
Yeah, huge Yentas. That would be such a twist, honestly. Big twist.
Could you imagine?
I couldn't. So I was always playing guitar and singing in my family, but because of like the way that schools are and the way that arts programs are in America, like I had to choose one thing. I chose classical music. I was never doing that other stuff kind of in the institutional thing. It was like my side little thing. When I got to college, I was still doing classical music, and then I fell in with like a bunch of like dirty hippie songwriters.
Uh-oh. Drugs.
Drugs and debauchery. And they like wrote their own music, which I had never done. All these like kids my age were just like playing in coffee houses and like singing like hours of songs that they wrote. And I was like, I didn't know you could just like do that.
Yes.
Surely there's like special certification that I need to do.
Surely.
Of course. Show me the program. Because I always loved to write just like stories and whatever. And I've been playing music since I was a kid, but I never thought to write music of my own. So those friends in college kind of got me in that zone. And then I started writing my own just like secular girl with guitar vibes. So then I did that.
She's got a guitar.
She's got
feelings.
Exactly. Give me a microphone. You have 3 hours.
Yeah. All she needs is 6 people who don't want to be in this coffee shop.
Exactly. They just happened to be sitting in front of me when I plugged in. Yeah. And now they're my audience. Exactly correct. You've nailed it.
I know it.
You know it. You've been there. Maybe you've been on either side of that microphone.
Absolutely.
You've been one of the 6, and you've also been.
I've been on both sides.
And you're like, oh, wait, is this a concert? Am I sitting in the front row?
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Oh, okay.
I guess I can't leave because, you know. So yeah. So then I was still playing some classical stuff, but by the end of college, I moved to New York to like do singer-songwriter. Secular. And so this is where Debbie's coming in. Are you ready?
Here we go.
Now I've told this story before, but not with you.
But not to a worldwide.
Not to the worldwide
audience.
Yenta audience of Yentas.
Of Yentas.
There probably were some Yentas in some of the audiences, knowing my audiences, but not this type.
In fact, definitely.
Definitely for sure.
But not capital Y.
No, not capital Y.
After patreon.com/
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I was like, I moved back to New York, I was living in the city, and I started like, you know, going like getting my first gigs in New York, which like is so exciting, but also like the crappiest places are the places that give you your first gigs in New York, as you know.
Oh, I know it.
You know it so well. The floor is sticky.
It's so sticky.
It's like your set is from 3 to 3:20 p.m. Right? Exactly. You're like, who perchance shall come to this?
A rat will poke their head in.
A rat might poke its head, might bring its friends, you know?
Absolutely.
There's a 2-drink minimum, but not enough time to drink 2 drinks. You know what I mean? You're fully responsible for bringing everybody there, the whole thing. Anyway,
absolutely.
So those early gigs, I think just because Debbie was like a friend of my mom's and she was trying to be supportive, she lived on the Upper West Side, and like she would schlep down to these like, god awful. Yes, I know.
Oh my God, that's so nice.
It was so sweet. And like she would always like come and sit down, and like, of course, some of the people who'd come were people who I had brought, and they would like be freaking out that Debbie Friedman was there because they're my people. And she would always just think it was so funny that like anyone knew who she was. And I would be like, what is your deal? Like, what's happening? She'd be like, Anyway, she would come and she would see me in these like terrible places. And we started to have this like kind of ongoing joke script that was just like, she'd come up after, she'd say something nice about something. And then she'd be like, all right, so Elana, when are you going to write some music for the Jews?
No.
And I would be like, that's never.
Like, they don't need it.
They don't need it. What have they ever done for me? Just kidding. So many things. I would never suggest
never.
that. We would
You're
never.
So grateful.
It's
so crazy.
I'm living in a bed of gratitude all the time. I'm levitating. It's just like the sign. And like, you know, at the time even though I came from my family and I'm a Nepo baby, as we've discussed.
Huge.
At the time, I was like, I'm doing something else. Like, I'm just being a musician. I'm like a girl with a guitar. Like, later, I like toured for many years doing that. I just like was doing something different for my family. Debbie, it was like very sweet, but I was just like, ew, like, I'm not doing that. You know, I have no interest. And even like when the venues were like nicer and like, it was like she could come to like a dressing room, it would still be that. It would still be like, that was great, blah, blah, blah. Like, how about throw a bone to the Jews?
Come on,
a
a
little
little
something, you know?
something.
And I just kind of like, it was loving and sweet and like a little nudgy. Debbie was all of those things.
I love that.
And I was just kind of like, no, not doing that. And then fast forward. I'm like touring for many years. I really enjoyed that life. It was fun. I met some amazing people, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Etc. My life.
Change your life.
Yeah. Transcendence, etc. And okay, now it's like we're my older daughter Maya is 12, so she was a brand new baby. I'm a new parent. If there's any Yentas out there who've ever had a kid, do you remember how absolutely fucked you were after you had a baby? Beep. Sorry. It's like I was like, really like, what is life? Who am I? What's going on? You know? Your whole identity, what's going on? What's my purpose? How do I do this? When do I shower? All that stuff. Anyway, I'm singing to my kid. I'm like trying to keep her calm and just like making stuff up or whatever. And I start like singing this melody. It's like nice. I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice, you know? And then as I'm singing, it's like there's words, which never happens like all at once for me. The words are in Hebrew.
Shout out.
Shout out. Because I'm never doing that. Fully a prayer. Yehi l'ratzon im refiv hegion be like, may the words and the things in my heart, may the things that I worry about, may all the things in my soul be acceptable. And I was like, okay.
Okay, lame.
Okay, God.
Okay, earnestness.
Yeah, okay, I guess, you know. And it was weird. Like, it was like, because I grew up feeling connected to Judaism through music.
Yeah.
I was not someone who had like a lot of personal prayer experiences, all communal, all everybody singing together, all that. And this really felt like a real, just direct thing, and not one that I planned for, and one that I was resisting. And it was a time that I was really struggling, and I was like, you know? And that truly was like the beginning of this entire other part of my life from that point. That was the first piece of Jewish music I wrote. And then I just started writing a lot more, and people were responding to it. And I was really feeling like very differently in terms of my own sort of connection to the music than I was with my folk music. And I was like, and Debbie died 2 years before Maya was born. So she did not get to hear this music, but she definitely,
Whoa.
I know. There's no way to tell this that doesn't get kind of like this, you know?
Oh, it's very this.
It's happening, you know?
It's very
We're
this.
moving it around. But like that was my experience. And so I think that's part of the reason that that I do kind of feel the like Debbie thing around when I'm working, because it's like, she like bothered me about this till the end.
Wow. Oh my God.
Anyway, that's my life story till now. I didn't skip anything.
That was a really good life story.
It's a story.
Okay, oh my God, I have so many follow-up questions.
I can't
I'm trying
wait
to sift through them. Let's stay on your life story.
Okay, great.
Okay. You haven't gotten to the part about how you're now married to the biggest female cantor in New York City.
Cantor Julia Cadran, shout out. Yeah, I mean, you over and over and over were referring to us as
lesbian power couple.
Exactly. And I just wanted that to come from you and not from me.
It's written.
It's written right there in the notes.
Right here.
I blushed the first time. You know what I'm saying?
What's it like being a Jewish power lesbian?
Every time you say it, I love it more.
It's true.
Actually, so the version of the story that I just told you is like, some, you know from your shows, like it's a version. You
have the show version. That's a nice little
Temple
narrative arc. Exactly.
Okay. One of the reasons right after I had my daughter that I was like having a mental breakdown. Partly it's like having a child, but also I had been married. I was married at the time to my ex-husband. Twist. Julia was also married to her ex-husband.
This is so juicy.
Neither of us had ever been with women before. What? I'm doing stuff that I don't think.
You're doing the cuts into your face.
I'm doing real time. This is the level of control freak that I am. I'm doing the angles. I'm doing the cuts.
Pan.
This is your
zoom.
We open on a living room. This is your realm. I know you're going to do that so great. I don't know why I'm being so.
You're going to look gorgeous.
Oh my God. You're going to look gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
You're gorgeous. Okay. So yeah. So that story is so intense. Let me think of what's a funny way to get in. I was Julia's guitar teacher when she was studying to be a cantor.
Oh! Stop.
It's true. We met in room 525 at HUC, the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music.
Pre being called?
Yes, actually. Yes, because Julia was the student in her like third or fourth year who like led the ceremony, which renamed the school, which was an important day for us because I was like, oh, hello.
No.
A little.
This is so hot.
It's So I was her teacher. That's the first thing. I want to just point out a couple things about that.
Okay, yeah.
It's graduate school.
Let's unpack that.
Okay, let's unpack it. It's graduate school. We're a year and a half apart. Julia would really want me to make sure to say a year and a half because sometimes I'll be like, how old? I don't know them. How old are they? Like our age? And she'll be like, she's like your age. She really makes a distinction between the 18 months between us. But
yeah. Well, huge gap.
The point is, were we teacher and student? Yes. Were we totally age appropriate? Absolutely. And it's fine. Okay. So when Julia and I met, she was a student and we were both engaged to men who we subsequently married. And
you were engaged. You weren't even married when you met. This is incredible.
You know, I now, when I think back, and I feel like Julia's answer is similar. When I think back to my life before, I'm like, I definitely was not aware of like being attracted to other women or girls or teens, whatever, when I was that age. Age appropriate. When I was a girl, they were girls. When I was a teen, they were teens. I would never suggest.
Exactly.
Okay?
Just to be
clear. Okay, great. Well, my friend was texting me before I came over to be like, are you excited about the podcast? I was like, she was like, I can't wait to see how you're going to be canceled. So I think it just happened.
Perfect.
It might have just happened.
It's ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. So like I could think back now in my life to sort of like some like prototypical things where it's like, oh, maybe that was something. But it was never like, oh, I really want to like be with that person. I really want to like be physical. It was just like really close friends who like things kind of like exploded and we weren't friends anymore. And I'm like, I don't really get it, but okay. And that happened like a few times. You know, there's stuff like that.
Interesting.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But like, I always had boyfriends. Like, I only ever was interested in boys. And like, I married this wonderful guy. And so like, when Julia and I met, it was more like, when's the last time you make like a new best friend when you're like an adult out of school and out of stuff that you meet people, right?
Yeah.
I was just like so excited to meet her. We were like so vibey. She was so funny. And we were just like really good friends. Like full stop. It didn't even occur to me. It was just like, oh, like a person I'm looking forward to seeing. Would I leave the door to room 525 open when I was teaching other students in case Julia would walk by? Maybe. Did she interrupt other people's lessons? Constantly.
But that's just what platonic
friends do. But like truly, it's like if this were with at the time, if this had been happening with a man, I would have recognized it immediately.
No, but you're right, because actually that is what platonic friends do. Because female friendships,
they're like that. They're intimate.
Are so intimate, they're basically romances without the sex.
Literally.
Like, so.
And that had never even occurred to me until this part of my life happened. So anyway, the point is, Julia and I met, we're like, you know, just talking all the time. Okay. If she were here, she'd want me to tell you that she knew right away. And she was like, she would want me to tell you, I'm telling you, she would want me to tell you. She was like trying to get me to hang out with her for like a year and a half or something before I like picked up on that. That was not my experience. My experience was like
hang out, meaning date, or
no, like we both lived in Brooklyn. We lived near each other.
like literally hang out.
Yeah, like let's like go like get a drink or walk around, or like we could take the subway home together. We're in the same neighborhood. Like I don't know. She like invited me to a yoga class probably. Come on. You know. I just feel like for a very long time, for years, like a couple of years, it was like, oh, I have like a new best friend. And we did start to spend time together. We would like walk in the park and like we would like, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Normal friend stuff.
Honestly, it is.
It is. That's the point. So by the time it like suddenly became clear to me that like something else was going on, it was so far too late. Like it was like we were both married.
Yeah.
Okay, that's too late.
Yep.
To people that we loved. Like it wasn't like, but it was like, and we did all the stuff. Like, first of all, it was like just a torture time because it's like my internal life is completely changing. My external life needs to not change at all. Right? It's that thing of being, because I guess that was the time in my life that I was closeted. I just didn't really realize it.
Whoa.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's the feeling that I've since.
Right, you didn't feel closeted
not
before.
At all. Not at all.
You just had a brief terrible time in a closet that suddenly appeared.
Right. I was like, who built this closet around me? So it's like, it was a really, really tumultuous, like painful, crazy time. It was so confusing. Like I had no, model for this. Like it was just kind of like, and now of course I know a quadrillion people who are married to men who like ultimately ended up being with women.
Yes.
But at the time I knew no one. And so it was like, and I was like not talking to anyone because I was like afraid, Anyway, ultimately, after much turmoil, so much therapy, Antonia. I mean, individual therapy, couples therapy, all different combinations. We did all the combinations.
I love that.
Well, this actually is going to lead us into one of the secrets. I don't know if it's too early.
We're getting there already?
We don't have to. I can pause it.
No, let's get there.
I could pause it and we can come back to it when it's time.
Let's go. Let's secret.
Here's a secret. So after all the turmoil, okay. Oh, I want to say something which is true and honestly incredible to me now, but it felt like the right thing. Julia and I were clearly in love with each other for a long time, trying to figure out what to do. Talking about that constantly. Never kissed, never did anything physical.
Wow.
I can't explain. That was a very important line to both of us, even though, emotionally
you were
out
way over the line.
The line was in another time zone, but that was a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to think of the amount of buildup.
Oh my God.
Okay. So neither
really should be a sexy TV show.
Yeah, I know. Will you write it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. You heard it here first.
I'm on it. The rights have been bought, people.
Guys,
sit down.
Stop. Just let it be. Just stop. Okay, it's Antonia's. So, okay, lots of turmoil, lots of pain, blah, blah, blah. Everyone is whole and good now. But at the time, it was like, will this ever be okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's this tiny baby.
I have a baby,
oh my God,
with my ex-husband, who is a wonderful man and a great dad. And we're all good now. Okay. But we were not good for a long time. And, okay. So Julia has like, at some point her therapist has been like, listen, you need to just like not speak to either Elana or your husband for like a weekend. Just get clear. No other outside. This is like after a year or more of like insanity, where everybody knows everything, and we're trying to find our way through whatever. Oof. Yeah. Okay, so she goes off on her little like silent retreat, which was not like, and it was like in an apartment,
a vision quest in Park
Slope. You exactly nailed it. And like I, meanwhile, have been experiencing this thing of like we had been communicating constantly for years,
right.
And then it was like the last 6 months before, it's like we need to just like it's like I have a baby. She's like, you have a baby. We need to like try to. So we were like still communicating, but it was different and like hard. Like it wasn't fun. And okay, so then Julia comes back from her vision quest, and she's like, she's like, can we meet up? And I'm like, yeah, like I have couples therapy on the Upper West Side. She's like, let's meet at Whole Foods. Okay. Shout out Whole Foods Columbus Circle.
Shout out. Oh, well, I was like, meet up at Whole Foods.
They've got a little sitting area. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I go there, like, I don't know. I'm just like, oh, Julia wants to meet. It was beyond my ability to comprehend the idea that we would have some resolution to the situation because it just felt like infinite pain all the time. Mm-hmm. We're getting good laughs here. Is that what's happening?
Oh, people they're hype.
They're hype. Okay. So I go down to the Whole Foods. We sit at one of these like communal tables because that's what they have there.
Of course.
We've got like Swedish tourists around us, like eating cookies, whatever.
And their little brown
the paper box thing. Yeah, and we're just like all smushed together. And Julia's like, very like she's a pastoral presence. She's a clergy person. Mm-hmm. She's like, so listen, like I've figured out that like I really need to leave my marriage and like that's what I need to do and like. I just wanted to let you know. And like, it's like very much like that. And I'm like, I was confused. Like, I'm like, I had to be like, but do you want to be with me?
Yeah.
Or, like,
why are you being so serious about it?
And she was like, oh, no, like, totally. Yeah. It was like, she had spoken to like a very important figure in her life who was like the aforementioned, by the way, Ray of Margie and Ray. An absolute...
Listeners, you don't know about Margie and Ray, but I know about Margie and Ray.
Iconic lesbian couple, trailblazers of every kind. And Ray is sort of like a spirit guide for many people, and Julia is one of them. Mm-hmm. And Ray said to her, honey, this woman has a baby. Sorry, Ray, this isn't the best I can do. You can't put any pressure on her. She has to be able to live with her, the whole thing. And which is, by the way... important.
That's important. That's good advice.
Good advice, right?
Good job.
Ray, way to go.
So Julia's like, I'm putting so little pressure on
that
you.
You're not sure if you even like me anymore.
I don't want to be with you.
Right. So I'm like, the Swedish tourists are here. I'm like, but you want to be together? She's like, I mean, yeah, no, of course. But like, I'm just telling you what I need to do.
But like
away. We're holding space. Okay. So that's like, okay, bomb drop. This is like years of this buildup.
Were you like, yay? Were you like...
I was like, that. Uh-huh. I was just like, frozen.
Yes.
Listeners.
Well said.
I was frozen. But like, yes, of course, somewhere internally I was like, yeah, but I'm still like sorting out my life here.
Right.
Okay. So we leave the Whole Foods. I walk up to our couples therapist, not mine and Julia's, mine and my ex-husband's. Because we have our weekly sessions trying to figure out what to do.
Before the therapy session.
It was immediately before.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Now, in the therapy session, we've been for a year trying to sort of untangle. Like, on the one hand, we love each other. On the other hand, I have these incredibly strong feelings that I have been trying to put away. How can that be true if you're getting okay, whatever. So much guilt, so much shame, so much anger.
Yes.
All the stuff that you listen to this podcast for. Guilt, shame, anger.
That's our brand.
Exactly. Sometimes queer.
Sometimes
about comedy, etc. So we have a session, and I just kind of hear myself saying in the session, it's not premeditated because I just walked from the Whole Foods where the bomb was dropped. I hear myself saying, I don't think I can live with myself if I don't explore this. I hear myself like, oh, and I leave this session, and it's a horrible, catastrophic event.
Yeah.
I get into the subway on my way back, and I'm like, I got to text Julia.
Oh my God.
I got to tell her what happened. So I took up my phone and I texted her. The sex is on.
Literally?
Yeah, literally.
Oh my God!
And that's the secret I decided to share.
Oh my God!
Yeah. That text is, if we could frame it, we would.
Can you please? At least when your daughters are a little older,
they can appreciate it.
Then they'll love it.
The origin story.
Oh my God. And then you naturally conceived.
And then we tried very hard. We kept trying over and over.
You got one, and then one day you figured it out.
Exactly. That's like a thing of being, at the time that we had Acadia, like Julia was a cantor at Central Synagogue, is a huge, very visible,
Huge.
place. So, the Jews want to know. They want to know. They want to know what happened, how'd that get in there, who put it in there, da 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 da. And
Is he good?
Should I
go to
right,
him?
exactly. Somebody said, like, did you have a are you having a natural baby or artificial? Like, people use terms they're not sure. They know it's different.
Is it like a no processed sugars baby?
Exactly. Like gluten or gluten free.
Like, how GMO?
Exactly. How much GMO?
How
like
much
just a little
GMO?
or just so like I, turned out to be kind of like a protective mama bear vibes during that time, and like the people asking the questions all the time was like making me crazy. And so I did start answering like, they're like, how did you do it or whatever, which is the question people ask you.
Incredible.
Like it's like asking someone like, what position were you in? Like, what are you
Be specific.
like, tell me, was your leg or was it I would just be like, too much tequila one crazy night. I did that over and over to like the old ladies at Central Synagogue, and they loved it.
Of course they loved it.
Or they were confused by it, but it made me feel better.
They were inspired. They were like, oh, if
I could only just those crazy kids. Exactly. That's kind of the basic of the story.
That is an incredible story.
It's a good story.
And now the two of you are like singing the genre that I like to call women belting in unison music.
I love it.
At the Bima of Central Synagogue together.
Now, I just want to say that women belting in unison together, that could be the name of the genre that they put in Spotify. I don't even need to say Jew if you don't want to say Jew. Easy as that.
Easy as that.
Totally. Yes. So for many, many years, for like 12 or 13 years, this is another layer of our drama, which is that I worked at Central Synagogue as like the violinist in the band. Before Julia got there as the cantor. When she got there as the cantor, a lot of this was already underway. So in addition to our regular lives falling apart, Julia was at her very first job after being ordained in this huge, highly visible pulpit. I was an employee of that place.
From teacher and student.
To employer.
Employer.
And that's frowned upon. Let's just be honest.
You're an HR violation from start to finish.
Okay. So that was its own whole thing of like trying to navigate that in a way that was like ethical and honest and like also not like the focus for people because like people get excited about that kind of thing. So yes, Julia is not at Central Synagogue anymore. She's been at Temple Israel of Westport. Shout out Temple Israel of Westport, Connecticut, for about 4 years. But for like 9 years, we were there together, and we were, what did you say? Women belting in unison.
Women belting in unison.
I love women belting in unison.
You know the genre.
I don't want to say I invented it, but I'm part of it. I'm a proponent.
You're a luminary thereof.
A luminary.
That was incredible gossip. Okay. We're gonna pivot into Matzah Minute, and then
did I ruin your vibe because I just dropped that secret right in the middle?
That was incredible. We're gonna pivot into Matzah Minute.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna ask you some of your hottest opinions about everything wrong with Judaism.
Oh, great!
And then we can sort of end there because we already got your secret.
Do I get to hear a secret of yours, or it's only me that gives a secret?
The thing is, Elana,
you're out
if
of
you want to hear my secrets,
yeah.
Listen to older episodes.
You've done it.
I got rid of them all.
That's a hard thing about the premise here. Like I was thinking about that for you.
Very difficult.
It's like at a certain point you start to be like, have I lived? Like but you've said all your stuff.
Literally. I can only spill other people's secrets.
But that's fun too.
It is.
I would accept that as well.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay.
When you told me about reminding me to bring a secret, and I was like panicking about it, I did come up with a bunch of other friend secrets that I could tell consensually.
I love that.
But I felt that this might.
Well, this was perfect.
The sex is on.
Like, you are the center of the biggest queer Jewish New York City lesbian.
Just saying
drama
all the words. Love it.
Since Debbie Friedman passed away.
Legacy.
And
this will be my legacy.
You are her spirit. Continued on. Lador,
dramatic lesbian drama.
Exactly.
Yes.
Gosh, she blessed us so much. All right. Grab that matzah. It's right next to you.
Wow.
Okay. I'm going to ask you some hot take questions.
Do matzah minutes happen outside of the week of Passover?
Yes. And here's the fun part. We only buy the matzah
Once a year?
Passover.
Okay, great. And then...
And it lasts.
It's a miracle.
Hanukkah, we make a big deal of 8 days.
Who talks about the 1 year?
This puppy lasts a year.
Nothing. It's unchanged, I bet.
Unchanged.
It's like a Big Mac. Like,
You
it's like you can
literally-
leave it out on the shelf.
Like, the thing is, you literally can't tell the difference.
I believe that.
You know the matzah.
It's not known for its crisp freshness.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Pull out that guy.
Take a sheet out.
Take a bit.
Take a bit.
Okay. Here we go.
Got it.
Which denomination of Judaism is the best?
Reform.
Why?
Because everything is reform. Like, every denomination is making choices about things that they want to do, including like ultra-Orthodox people, and they just don't like the word reform because it sounds like they're not affiliated and they don't know anything. But really, choice is reform.
Intellectual honesty. I love that. Okay. It's Shabbos dinner. You're in charge of picking the table song.
Ay.
What's the song?
Oh my God.
And sing it.
The thing is, the reason I love that song is because there's really cool and weird harmony under it. Like, the chord changes are not what you expect. And in my Shabbos table, you can use a guitar. So that's what I would do.
Crazy.
It is crazy. You know why? Reform. I leaned in for an angle shot. I only have to eat this if I don't answer.
That's correct.
Great.
Unless you want to, and you want to make a bad choice.
I definitely don't. Listen, we would never judge other people's choices around matzah. Never. But it's gross. Okay, carry on.
Okay. Favorite dead rabbi who was also a songwriter?
Oh my God. Favorite dead rabbi who is also a songwriter?
There's a lot of them.
I know. Oh, this is really hard because... Okay, here's the real truth.
Give it to me.
What I want to say musically, I can't say.
I know exactly who you want to say. She
got
ate
it?
the matzah.
You get it?
She ate the matzah.
You guys get it? You eat the matzah? All right.
Listeners, if you get it, you get it. Okay.
I'm sorry. Are you hearing me chew? Let me move this away.
Yeah, that's disgusting. Okay. How do you pronounce the word that is spelled Nigun?
I thought you were going to spell water just now. Nigun. Yeah, that's correct.
That's good. That's a safe, smart
It's
choice.
the right answer.
And how do you feel about the way that Joey Weissenberg insists on pronouncing it?
Listen, I'm in a band with Deborah Sachs-Mintz, and she also says that.
Oh, boy.
And the first couple times, I genuinely jumped. It's just, I was like, what? Wait. Okay. Oh, I see. It's like Hasidish. I get it.
Okay.
But like the first time you hear that, even when you
This
just
is a
spelled
real
it,
Yiskadal situation.
it's a Yiskadal. Even just now when you spelled it, you get a little.
Absolutely.
You get a pang.
You hear the first three letters.
You say,
and you go,
pass.
whoa,
I'm eating the matzah.
whoa.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nigun.
Of the hot Jewish songwriters who orbit around Hadar as you do, who's the biggest gossip?
Oh my God! Wow. This is a hard one. Because there's something in like all of these circles, there's something that's just kind of inherently gossipish because it's, it's incestual, it's small, it's connected. I don't know if I can name a single person. And it's not because...
Not because they're not gossips.
No, it's because they all are.
They all are.
Yeah. Do I have to eat the matzah?
No, that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. Oh, I asked you a lot of questions. Okay, final question. Favorite and least favorite current Jewish musician?
Oy vavoy. I have to say of someone who's like doing it now that I don't like. Listen. Well, you could eat it.
You're holding the matzah.
You hold the matzah. The matzah's in your hand. Okay. Favorite current. Okay. All right. I just want to shout out my friend Eric Hunker, who is, first of all, the greatest mensch of all mensches.
Yeah.
The greatest, the most beautiful songwriter. His music is like mostly, I think he wouldn't be in the same made up Spotify genre. Well, he's not a woman belting in unison.
That's right.
He's not. But he is an amazing Jewish musician. He like leads all the music for international BBYO, whatever. But he's an incredible songwriter, and I want everyone to check him out. He's one of my favorites right now.
That's a good shout out. I performed comedy at Camp Nye when
He's awesome.
doing singing there. He was great.
Yeah, really, really good dude, really thoughtful. The music is beautiful. We're actually teaching a songwriting thing together, which I've never done. I've never done with anybody else.
Ooh.
At Havana Shira, which I know you know about from Eliana.
Shout out,
Eliana Light. Havana Shira is coming up in a couple weeks, I guess. It's in the middle of May. And Eric and I have done some stuff, like we've led things together there, but we're actually teaching something together. So I feel like I'm going to learn about songwriting from him. I don't think I can get away with saying who I think is somebody that I don't like. I'm sorry. I'm eating this matzah.
Eat the matzah. Fine. Okay, I have another final question, which is pet peeve of modern Jewish music.
Yeah. I have a couple. Still eating my matzah.
Yeah, lay it on me.
Okay, one is just like, if you're gonna use Hebrew in your in your music, which a lot of us do,
Absolutely.
couple things. You should understand what the words mean.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You should know how to pronounce them.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You know, you want to put the emphasis on the right syllable. Okay, that's very like a lot of, I think it's amazing and beautiful, truly, that like it's so open now. Anybody can do it.
Anyone.
I honestly do find that wonderful. And I feel like somebody like Debbie would really be into that. And she was very learned. It's good to learn. It's good to learn. That's all. That's one pet peeve. And another is like, I guess I would just say that it's like the flip side. I like when Jewish music feels Jewish. Like when it sounds, there's something in the kishkas, you know?
I do know what you mean. How do you feel about people like Nefesh Mountain, who are like bluegrass?
Right. So, full disclosure, Eric and Donnie, friends of mine. Okay.
So, spill.
I feel like what they're doing is really incredible in terms of like when people, I think a lot of times when people who are outside of, I was going to say just our world,
this right
this
here.
circle right here, outside of this, the circle of this couch and chair, are like, oh, you're like a touring Jewish musician. Like, are you like trying to cross over or whatever? They're always thinking about it being like, how do you get from like little tiny Jewish music to like to real music, basically?
Absolutely.
Right. So like that, there's no world in which my music does that. My music is Jewish music. Like that's its function. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I feel like what Nefesh Mountain has done is really that. And so it's in some ways we're just doing different things. Like they have music that works in like in a prayer experience for sure. But they also have music that's so much more universal and has much less of that sort of like explicitly Jewish thing that it can be then. Like they're playing huge clubs all around the country on the bluegrass circuit, which like, even though my music is folk music, that wouldn't happen.
Right.
You know
You're
what I'm
not
saying?
getting that folk designation on Spotify.
I'm not. Am I getting Christian? Yes, I am.
Absolutely.
Of course. So I think it's really cool. I just think we're doing different things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Heard.
It's like, I don't know, the goal, like the goals are different in terms of like,
Right, like your goal is saving the Jewish people. Theirs
Obviously.
is fame.
right. Ugh.
Okay.
No, like I would love to reach more people in with my music, but like I'm not under the illusion that like the vast majority of it will be more Jews who listen to my music. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not like pitching my songs like to be on like top 40.
Though when they get an EDM remix,
Exactly.
they're gonna go crazy.
They're gonna go crazy.
Hinei ma tov.
Nailed it. Yeah, I just think like that's kind of like there's a version of Jewish music, and I don't think Nefesh Mountain is this, but there's a version of Jewish music and Jewish musicians where the goal is to transcend the genre of Jewish music, and like I feel like my goal is the exact opposite. It's like to like really be sitting in this very specific thing.
Okay, and
I'm
also
just like gesticulating with this crumb of matzah.
look how little matzah you have left. You want to kill it just for fun?
I don't know if there's like a just for fun.
That's fun.
That's not really the vibe.
Is that your version of fun?
I'm gonna put it next to my weird. We haven't come up with a good.
Swamp broth.
Swamp broth. If it has a catchy name, people are going to be ordering it.
I think you're right.
You know? Dirty chai, like that vibe.
Right.
You know?
Like maybe there's a Moscow Mule spin because mint, you know?
Yes.
Actually, I don't drink. There is mint in a Moscow
There
Mule?
is, yes, but wait,
am I right?
is there?
There's a
No,
mojito.
Mojito. Well, you could give it something like
Look,
that.
I drink. I know. I know alcohol.
If there's one thing she knows, alcohol.
I'm cool. Okay.
Here's how you know. Because I'm telling you.
That's how you know.
That's how you know.
Okay, so we've got like 10 minutes left.
Should I keep doing this?
Cradle it to
Maybe
your
I'll
breast.
get a sponsorship from Aviv.
Hey, and also this is from Trader Joe's. Isn't this an interesting brand?
You're saying this brand is what Trader Joe's?
Yeah, in LA.
Product of Israel, guys.
Just saying.
Just saying, Trader Joe's.
Baked and packed in B'nai Brak, as it says on the box.
As it says.
Just saying.
Just saying.
So for our last 10 minutes, I kind of want to do a bit of a more Jewish music deep dive with you.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Like what are the big things you're talking about at the Debbie Friedman School of Singing Music?
I want like you know how shock jocks like in the morning radio have like sound like where they have sound cues buttons for different like wah 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 wah. I want just one button and I want it to be you being like what are we talking about the Debbie Friedman School?
Yeah, like what are the hot conversations that are getting you lit up these days?
Totally. So I spend a lot of time at the Debbie Friedman School of Music teaching about worship, teaching about tefillah and like effective, meaningful, crafting meaningful leadership, worship, and also like sort of they call it like clergy formation in terms of how you have like a kind of presence that's an inviting presence for people to enter into this very strange thing that we do, which is like pray in a group with like ancient words that a lot of people don't understand. Gibberish, right? Yeah. Singing gibberish sometimes. Yep. So that's like a big part of my sort of role there. And there's a lot of conversations that light me up there. It's funny. I listened to your episode with Elana Light. Shout out Elana Light, second time. And I was like vigorous, you know, like when you're listening to a podcast, it's vigorously nodding your head. Like I think that we do have a lot of overlap in the way that we think about things, although we come from really different places. I think like, so one big conversation amongst the students and therefore with me is like in reform services, like the place we are in the pendulum swing right now is that most of the liturgy that we do is sung. It's mostly sung.
Yeah.
It's singing.
Yeah.
So I have rabbinic students who are awesome and like really incredibly thoughtful, and they're at the beginning of their journey. It's a 5-year program. So they're in their second year. They're asking like important, deep questions. And like one of the questions that comes up a lot is like, I'm a rabbi. What's my job in the service?
Oh my God.
Because we're singing like almost everything. And like on the one hand, I'm like, what do you mean? What's your job in the service? You're the rabbi.
Freaking make it happen.
Make it happen. Let's go. But on the other hand, there's like a deep question there, which is kind of like these things kind of come in waves. And like there's been all different kinds of variations of this type of shift across lots of different kinds of denominations. And in the reform world, and I'm sure that this will swing in a different way, even within reform services, but there is sort of this kind of grappling with like, how does the rabbi, again, specifically in services, like the rabbi has a very obvious role otherwise, but like if we're going to sing like 90% of the liturgy that's like in the service that we choose, what's the rabbi doing? Like standing there and like singing comfortably or not comfortably along.
Yeah.
Like getting people to clap. Look at my face. Don't do that. That's not a good thing. Don't like make people clap if they don't want to clap, you know?
Yeah.
Or like they have one or two really specific moments in the service that they're like allowed to do something.
Right. Give a drosh.
Yeah. Or like explain something for a second. Like it's kind of interesting because as like a musical leader, this has been the class that I'm teaching right now. It's a new class. So it's called Worship Lab.
Incredible. And
like
I want to throw a lab on there.
Throw a lab.
And it feels fresh.
You're like, innovation, beakers,
modern beakers,
Bunsen burner. Those are the two things I could think of from chemistry.
Classic
Bunsen burner.
Music tools.
Exactly. So like that is an interesting dynamic right now, which is thinking about how do you lead? I have like a very strong feeling about that. Like we're leading worship, we're leading even when we're not the one singing or speaking.
Okay, and how are they supposed to do that?
How do they do the leading?
Like, I know in class you're supposed to be like, find it.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Reach within yourself. But like, what do you want
How
to
do you
tell
do
them?
it?
Like, what do you want to tell the students when you're like, you just do this?
Just do it. So, okay, one thing is like, and this is sort of my personal thing, but this is what I respond to in a great worship leader is like, I want the person to be the same person there as they are when I like see them at the coffee shop or
oh
just,
my God.
I want them to be like the same human person.
Oh my God, yes.
Right? Just one whole being.
Yes.
And I think so that's about like just like so many other kinds of, presentational stuff when you're up in front of people, something that's a voice that's authentic to you, a way of moving and being and standing and projecting or not projecting. That's like your normal way of being. Like, I think that some people have that thing of just like someone gets on stage who's not an actor or not a comedian.
Yes.
And they have like a different voice than they have when they're,
It's the thing that all stand-ups are fighting against.
Right.
Is to be the hilarious person they are off stage.
Right. Make that
on stage.
Exactly. It's the literal exact thing.
Yeah.
So, and listen, when you're new at it, and I'm sure this is true in stand-up, I mean, the last thing you want that you think you can be on stage is your actual self.
Exactly.
And like, of course, being on the beam is not being on stage, but I mean, being in front of people when you're being perceived, suddenly there's like there's a veil and there's like a wall or there's something. And so whether it's like putting on a rabbi voice or like the words that you choose when you write them down and how you speak, all of that, to me, like I really connect to people leading who are just like their authentic selves. They sound the same. They're enough. So that if I could get them to do that and nothing else, excuse me, Diana.
Okay. Excuse
me. Matzah box on my lap.
Aviv
on my lap. Crumbs on the bosom.
How do you feel about I go down rabbit holes of watching Christian worship leader training all the time because my God, they are serious about it.
Worship leader training?
Yeah. Do you know? Have you not looked into this world?
Have you not been
alive? Have you not been alive
have
on
you
this,
not been
on this planet?
I have not looked there, and we have a few YouTube things that we need to look at after this.
I feel like you would love the Christian worship leader world. They are so serious about it. It's like a franchise. Like there's money.
Oh, well, for sure. I'm definitely familiar with like the services, the big mega services, but I don't the training. Okay.
So one of my favorite things is like they focus a lot on how they are, I'm going to say this, I think probably in a way that's a little more generous, like how that they're modeling connecting to the music on stage.
I do know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
I do.
And
what is it? What does it look like? What are they modeling? It's like, yeah. Right. They're moving. They're feeling it. Eyes are closed.
Face. Eyes.
Giving
hands.
face. Giving hands.
I
do.
They're connected.
Wow.
And when I hear people say like, you got to do this, I'm like, that's so duplicitous acting. And then when I go to shul and I see the dead face rabbis up there not feeling it, I want to be like, feel it.
Yeah.
Arms up.
Totally.
Eyes closed.
Totally. Yeah. This is like really like, where do you fall along a spectrum? It's really a spectrum. Okay. Like so many other things.
It's a spectrum. It's actually a circle.
It's a circle. Exactly. Okay. So I do have a lot of strong feelings about this. Okay. Definitely. I feel you on if you're a dead-faced rabbi or cantor, it's harder to be a dead-faced cantor because you're singing. So your face is doing some stuff. But I just want to be generous because I'm a professional Jew, as are you. Hate to say that. You're also a professional comedian and other things.
But let's be real.
Let's be real. This is part of it.
Yeah.
We're embracing it. I do think that like there is, you're not, like people are coming to services instead of doing whatever they could be doing. If let's say they're going to do those same prayers, but they're going to do them alone at home. Okay. That's one option. Another option is they're not doing any of them. When you come to a service, you're there, you're explicitly in a community and you're explicitly being led. right? That's the other dynamic is like, you're not calling the shots. Somebody else is calling the shots. You can do whatever you want, of course. Like it's your service, right?
Free will, baby.
Free will. But it's like ostensibly you want to be led in a particular way and you want to be surrounded by people who are also like being swept up in that.
Yeah.
So yes, if the person is like completely uninspired and like detached, that is challenging for me. And I'm kind of like, why are we here? Like I could do this myself. You could do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like, but you chose to come here. I definitely feel like here's how you look as though you're actually into it is like also like kind of equally offensive. Yeah. You know, like what I feel like the people who move me and like allow me to be moved myself in services are praying. That's kind of it.
Yeah, it's a very like what we learned in theater school where it's like
do it.
Like just feel it.
Yeah.
Feel it, do it.
Say it.
And then everyone will feel it along with you.
Right. Like you're not like, you don't need to like dial it up to 12, you know, but don't dial it down to 0.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, it's so subtle too, but like when I'm talking to these students, like they know, like I'll say to them, okay, I want you to picture a service you've gone to in the last month where the person leading was not thinking about what they were doing. Like they were not praying. They were, I'm sure, thinking about important other things. We all, you know, you get up there, they're doing their job essentially. So like while you're doing your job, you're also worrying about like, did I leave the candle on? Like, are there groceries there? Because I wanted to make dinner for whatever. That's normal. Okay.
And okay, what groceries are there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I get the Aviv at Trader Joe's or do I have to? So like no shade about your mind wanders. You're not dedicated to every moment, but like, it's like, it is, if you're leading the worship, it is like, that's part of the sacred calling. You're leading people into this experience. So if you're not there, you have to know how to get yourself there. And I don't mean like but like, you know, that's part of what I'm trying to teach you students is like, what are the things that you specifically do and say and think about in order to get yourself there? Because probably at 5:45 on a Friday at the end of a long week and like increasingly kind of corporate culture in Reform synagogues, like where there's like a lot of other annoying stuff to deal with. That's not about leading prayers. You know, you roll up to the bima, you're not necessarily like, oh, I can't wait to like sink in and like settle down and open my soul. It's like,
yeah, how
fast can we get through this? Let's get home and whatever, you know? So it's like, we all need those touch points and things that we say and do that help us to kind of get into that zone. Like the same way probably, I don't know, is there something you do before you go on stage? Is there something you like you have little rituals?
I have like a warm-up song.
Okay.
That gets me in the right headspace.
Could I ask you some more? Can I ask a follow-up question?
You may.
What is it? What does it sound like? Like what is it?
It's a song that I wrote myself.
Oh my God, amazing.
And
for this purpose?
No, but
it's become the purpose.
It's become the purpose, and it's sort of an obvious. It's like, oh, of course.
Yes, this is what I'm doing.
Of course, and it has a really good emotional build for me,
and then you're pumped.
Takes me all the way there.
Yeah.
And then I'm ready to go.
Right. So that's like you found a tool for you that's gonna, because like I'm sure a lot of the time you roll up to do a show and you're like psyched to do the show, and like sometimes you've like been on the road for X number of days and you're like, I would rather be watching reruns like at hotel TV.
Exactly.
So, but you want to deliver in a way because you're serving those people. And it's like, this is not a performance leading worship at all, but like you are responsible to the people who are there to like lead.
Yes, you are. And you really do need to like figure out how to get yourself.
There. Totally.
And I will just say, just to plug my own brilliance.
Oh my God, please.
Because I feel like I should raise awareness about that.
You really should. Not enough people. We really need to get it.
No.
We need to get it really in the conversation. In the zeitgeist.
I'm starting the conversation, and I'm so brilliant because my warm-up song, it starts very slow, low, easy, meets me where I'm at, low energy, right? Then it hypes up a little bit more and more and more till we get very hype.
Yep.
But then we go back down to low and slow, but this time low and slow feels like focused and powerful.
I love it. Yeah, because you've let it rip.
Because I've gone all the way up. Totally. And so it is a very strategic, structured experience to transform my energy to get it into the right place.
That is, dare I say, brilliant.
I'm brilliant.
And we're talking about it.
I'm brilliant.
And you know what? We're
If
finally talking about it.
If anyone wants to know my song, they can email me at patreon.com/Yenta.
There it is. I was hoping you'd say they can join the Patreon. We really got to get the capitalism going here.
We really gotta.
Yeah, I think that like that thing of like giving yourself, finding what works for you that gives you the focus, the energy, and like the meaning of why you're doing what you're doing. That's the whole thing. You can't just like roll up and expect it to be something without any preparation for that moment, you know?
God, you're freaking wise.
How much of the podcast
is you and Aviv communing?
It's a lot.
It's quite a bit. and you're perfect.
I got nervous, you know, I get nervous. I'm a person who knocks things over. So I got nervous about when I finish this and I put it back, what are the odds that I won't get like tangled up? So that I'll just sit here.
I see. So we'll just keep it there.
Keep it here, but now
I think it's cute. I think it's sort of like a fun.
It's a fun visual.
To look at.
People will be like on the internet, like, "Oh, a clip of someone like cradling matzah. How interesting."
She must be Jewish.
She must be Jewish.
She's gotta.
It's
a fun visual of you for the people listening because you're in a really nicely patterned shirt and you're in front of a bookshelf.
Oh yeah,
that is also like feels patterned.
We got a lot going on.
So there's like a lot of visual interest happening.
I'm so happy
over there with you. I think that we should wrap it up now. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh my God, this was great.
Honestly, you're fantastic.
So are you.
I told you this before, but like I literally expected you to be like serious, grounded Jew.
I can listen. If you want a serious, grounded Jew, I can do that.
You can do that.
But
you do it all.
This is the vibe. This wasn't the vibe for today.
Come on.
Yeah, this is great.
You're amazing.
I feel the same about you. I listen. I knew your stand up already, and then I saw Eliana's episode. I started listening to Yenta. If you're not listening to Yenta all the time, you're missing out. It is very unique what you're doing. You're filling a very specific niche. It's mine.
Very specific.
I love it.
Yeah, straight to you.
To me, and yeah, I just like it's fantastic. And thank you for making time for me. And
literally, duh. We're honored. And so if you're listening to this, obviously you should go check out the new album. It'll come out on.
It'll come out everywhere
that
music is everywhere. It's coming out on May 9th, if we loved like that. And
your social media is?
My social media is at Elana Hope. Hope is my middle name, like literally. That's my Instagram, my website, elanaarian.com. That's a lot of vowels. There's many A's in a row. Just don't feel stressed by that.
A friend of mine has a rant about how the name Elana,
it's really designed to,
is the worst name.
It's difficult
because
it could be anything.
Of the vowel spots could be filled by any vowel.
Literally, that's true.
Literally.
And I know, I wonder if this happens to you. It must a little bit. People freak out about your name when they call you up on stage.
Oh yeah.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we talked about this.
It's like it's in the same way where it's like it's not like so like
it's not hard to say. You're looking at it.
It's just that there are multiple options
People
for
panic.
how to say it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Antonio Laser.
There it
is my drag name.
God, it's a great Antonio Laser is a great drag name.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh. Well, so at least you got that out of it.
So lucky.
Yeah, we have sort of like always a running pool when I'm playing shows with other people. Someone will announce me who is like a friend of mine or someone that I've worked with forever. They know my name is Elana Arian, but they see it written out on the bio and it's just like, this can't be right. It must be Elana Arian. Elana Arian.
It must be.
It must be.
It's gotta be.
It can't be.
There's no other.
There's no other way. So, yeah, but you nailed it. ElanaArian.com.
You taught me how to say it.
I did. I said Elana like iguana.
ElanaArian.com.
Exactly.
So that's where they'll find the new album, which
Yes.
I'm really excited to hear.
I can't wait to share it with you.
Really
it's gonna be
excited.
Great. Yeah.
And listeners, I mean, if you've made it all the way to the end of this episode, like, look, you're one of us.
You're one of us.
You're a Yenta. You're going to love the Patreon. Patreon.com/Yenta. The matchmaking situation that's going on there right now is literally so juicy. I can't even tell you. And also, like, if you're single, you've got to submit. If you're not submitting, you're insane. You can find out all about my show details on my website, antonialasar.com, or on all of my social media, Antonia Lastar. Adorable. And one fun thing to highlight is if you're in New Jersey, on the Jersey Shore in the first weekend of June, I'll be performing there and acting as their interim rabbi.
Okay, what?
There's a shul.
Wait, this podcast can't be over. I'm sorry. Rabbi Antonio Laser.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Rabbi Antonio Laser, Bal Tshuva.
Ugh, amazing. Wait.
They listen to this podcast.
They're like, that's our rabbi.
And they have one rabbi leaving. They've got another one coming in a couple weeks. And I think their strategy for easing the transition was to hire someone so shocking and inept.
They're like, whoever comes after will be better.
Exactly.
Oh my God, I love this.
Isn't that incredible?
When are you going to be there? The end of June?
No, first weekend of June.
Okay.
June 5th-ish. And I'll be doing like events all week.
Oh my God. I'm going.
Isn't that incredible?
Yentas? Let's go.
You gotta go.
You gotta go.
You gotta go. You can't miss this.
This is like, I'm doing the Matzah ad and plugging your show. You gotta go.
You gotta go.
Aviv says so.
Straight from Aviv. Okay, Yentas, we love you so much. Stay cute. Bye.
Bye.